Terrain for wargaming and RPGs. Spiky Bits. Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com, and in this video, we're going to take a look at the new Kromlech Dark Forest and Wizard Workshop releases. Not all of them, just what they sent us to share with y'all, and I think they're pretty cool. So to find everything Kromlech has for sale, you have to go to bitsofwar.com. Kromlech.com is basically their newsletter, but it'll have a link to get you over to Bits of War, which is their complete online catalog, and along with Tabletop Scenics, which has a lot of actually cool terrain and things like that in MDF and HDF and all the things that you could possibly want. It's definitely worth checking out there. But part of their Kromlech line is their new Dark Forest and Wizard Workshop stuff. Now they do have free shipping options on orders over 150 euros. I guess that's like 170. Let's click on it and see. I'm not exactly sure what that is in American dollars, but you can, even though the blisters and stuff that I'm going to show you on here are pretty reasonably priced, you can get the free shipping, well, depending on what you pick up, or maybe get with your buddies and pick up a bunch of conversion bits. As you can see, everything's over here, like the most recent releases, but then they have everything broken down by category too. So it's actually kind of smart how they lay it out here. But that being said, you could probably get a bigger order together in like no time, depending on how you want to customize your stuff. Now, to take a look at the terrain, this is the Dark Forest section here, which there's some really cool stuff here. I mean, these mushrooms, everybody's always about mushrooms for their gobos and things in their caves. And for 10 bucks for a blister pack in 2022, that's a pretty good value, I feel like. And then they have these big bush clumps and tree stumps, these road signs. I think I have a pack of these somewhere, but I couldn't find them, unfortunately. But I did check them out, and they are pretty neat, especially if you're doing a campaign or something. You can always change the towns and have things pointing, or just use them as, scenery on larger kits, something maybe from Games Workshop. I really like these bounty boards and notice boards, the old time internet back in the day, right? For 14 bucks for one. We used to pay $15 for a blister pack, and you didn't even get like one model, and now we're complaining about $35 from Games Workshop and $50 for frameworks from Dungeons and Dragons for 7 models. So I feel like this value-wise, it doesn't seem that bad, like I was saying, and there's all sorts of different options in here. I got some of these trees to show you today. $34, the big and chonky, and yeah, you can spend a bunch of time and make something that looks very similar 100%, but time is money, and some people just, hey, I'm just gonna buy it and paint it up. And some people are like, you know what, I'm gonna build it and paint it myself. That's all cool. It kind of depends on where you're at with your hobby journey. No hate there for sure. I used to have a lot more time than I do these days. I'm more of the, let me just buy it painted these days, right? Even though I can paint everything, it's hard to have the time, right? It's hard to balance all things. I really like this windmill. This windmill is wild. I wish they had sent us one of those to check out, but alas, they did not. And then of course the Wizards Workshop stuff, which I feel like is more geared specifically towards RPG. I've gotten some of these clear bottles. They're pretty neat for 10 bucks. I still think a good value. And then the tomes and the plinths, all very cool stuff. This is when it starts getting really cool. Like, they've got these hunting trophies and bookcases and things and components that you would see in board games for like $100, $200. You can get singles of, for 10 bucks or so. And then they got a bundle over here, which I think is pretty cool, because you get a board game, you get probably like this much, or maybe like double this, depending if it's like a $200 game. So, it just kind of depends on where you're at in your journey and how you want to like equip out your your tabletop. This is probably more geared towards RPG stuff than the general terrain stuff that we're also going to show you from the Dark Forest. But either way, it all has a very particular look that's very Kromlech-y and definitely works for tabletop wargaming, and also of course RPGing as well. Now, if you do happen to see this stuff out in the wild, or you do order it from Kromlech, this is pretty much how it's going to come. If you're a store owner and you're like, hey, I really want to get some stuff that's, within that $20 price range that people can pick up, like back in the day, everybody comes in a store with 20 bucks in their pocket, right? I've said that a million times on here. And, there's stuff like this, like if it's a larger kind of resin kit, these are those trophies, and we're going to open this up and take a look here in a second as well. it'll come in a baggie, but you know, some of the stuff's going to come in a blister pack too. So this is all very easy to display and put up, you know, on the retail side of things with a peg hook. But as a consumer, you know, it's easy to find or order from Kromlech, and then you get it, and hey, you don't have to worry about it. It's in good packaging. It's not busted. You know, you just don't know what it is. You throw it in a corner, you never find it again. You're always going to be able to tell what this stuff is, and it comes, you know, pretty protected as well. And then as far as the larger kits, as you've seen in the past here, you know, this stuff is going to come very well protected if it's completely resin. They put packing peanuts in here, and then, you know, even the kits themselves are in baggies. So that's, you know, always good to see as well. This one's sealed up, but we'll open that one up in a second. This is pretty heavy, so I want to do this off camera in case I drop something in it and embarrass myself here in a second. But yeah, so that's how you're going to find the stuff in the wild. Now let's take a look at actually how it looks. I did it without embarrassing myself. So these are those trees, and they are honking big. Holy cow, look at this. This is a big chunk of resin for sure. That's probably why they're $35 US, which I completely understand now. They come, they have some separate parts you're gonna have to glue together, not too many, and they socket right in. And these things will paint up super easy with a little, you know, just a quick primer coat, maybe some base coats, but from there it's probably a lot of dry brushing and things. I do like that the base isn't too thin, so it does support the weight, but you could get an 80 mil. This looks to be about 60 mil. You could get an 80 mil base and you know, glue onto that if you really wanted to get it to where you feel like it needs more stability. I don't feel like it does, but if you did, you could always use that, you know, Liquitex resin sand if you really wanted to, just to cover up the difference between the lip and the flat area, something like that. And there's a couple different varieties, like there's the spooky kind of haunted tree, the big chunky tree, and then this is more of like a, I don't know, like an indoor tree, maybe like a dogwood kind of style. I don't know. I'm not a treeologist, unfortunately. And then this is how they compare to miniatures on a 32 millimeter base. You know, they've got, well, they're big, which definitely makes sense. So, and kind of explains the price. Now, is it affordable to buy these to equip out a whole table? No, probably not. It's probably going to be something that you want, you know, only a couple of these for a specific thing, but you could, you know, they're nice and all, and very cool and nicely done. And I could see where people would want them. But, you know, at the end of the day, do you want to spend money on terrain, or do you want to spend money on figures? And, you know, some people are like, oh, I really like that. I have a specific use for that. I have a, you know, Goblin Gets patch, or, you know, I need a troll something, or, you know, Ewoks. I don't know. So I get the value and I get the need for some of this, but, you know, at the end of the day, yes, I know you could definitely make your own. That's not what this is all about. This is about sharing their products that are pretty cool, and you know, might save you some time and give you some cool options to paint. Now, kind of along the same vein is these dark bushes, which I didn't show you. I think I showed you these are dark forest bushes. I showed you the stumps, but I already had these open to kind of take a look at, and these are cool. You know, they're like 35 bucks for the whole. Here, let me get you some better light here. We'll zoom in. It's about 35 bucks for, what do you get? 1, 2, 3, is it 4? Sure, 5. You get 5 of these little patches. So this would be pretty cool, you know, throw area terrain. Definitely kind of a little bit spooky, but not too spooky. They would paint up good, like I said, with a base coat and a little bit of dry brushing. You could easily knock that out. You're not going to be able to put your minis on here. There isn't enough space or anything. And then just to give you an idea of the size there. And they list all the stuff. I don't have this box handy, but they list all the sizes and things on this, and then on their website too, in both metric and standard. So, you know, if you're like, well, I don't understand how big that is, well, you should be able to definitely figure that out. So it's very cool, very crisp, very nice terrain, you know, if you're just looking for some random stuff like this. And then the smaller bits, some of the stuff I showed you earlier, like they've got the wizard desk thing here. Now this will be wild to paint. This will take you a hot minute for sure. But this will, like I said, you get stuff like this in board games sometimes, and you know, they're not as nicely done, obviously, and you know, not as sturdy. And this is something that you treat this right, you can have this for a very long time and use it in a lot of your adventures and things. And then there's a seat. I don't know. Oh, I think this was. I think I'm mixing up two. No, I don't think I'm mixing up two kits. So there's a little seat and a little wizard's table here, and this thing I think is the wizard's bed. So not exactly something you're gonna see in like you know, Sigmar or wargaming, but in, you know, RPG and stuff. Or, you know, say you spend all this time converting up a really cool wizard's castle cottage thing, and now you need some stuff to put inside of it. Well, you can get that furniture. You can outfit it with this furniture and these little trophies and things. You know, put trophy heads. You can put those on the wall, and they're really cool. Very, very nicely detailed. Let me get that up the right way. Very nicely detailed, and you can do some really cool stuff with that. And then, you know, you could even cut out some plastic card and things to put on the back to even have a more traditional mount or something like that. And then here's the bookcases. Like I said, some of the stuff you get in board games and things, and they're not that great, but you know, if you're just like, hey, I need this bookcase for the scenario, or just something to deck out a room or some sort of terrain area, well, this would definitely work for you. And you know, 10-15 bucks for these blister packs, depending on which ones you're picking up. I think I'm missing nope, I'm not. That's all three of them in the trophy head pack. So very, very cool terrain all the way around, I feel like, and just something, you know, refreshing if you just need just a cool little hobby project to spruce up something you're doing with your friends or something else like that. And it's definitely in the right scale for wargaming and also for RPG stuff. But like I said, some of this isn't going to work so well with the wargaming. So that's pretty much it. That's all the new terrain stuff I have. Maybe they'll switch over to some wargaming stuff for the next couple months. But this is what they sent for us to share with you guys here for the spring of 2022. So thanks a lot for checking out our unbox and kind of review. And some of this we did have to build, the trees and some of this top one together, and some of this wizard thing here, desk and the chairs and things went together, but super easy. It's all just resin. Just use normal super glue there. So that's it for this one. Thank you for checking it out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Don't forget, you can always get your bits and your miniature upgrade kits and things like that, and even terrain over at Bits of War. You can go to kromlech.com or kromlech.eu, but it'll just take you to Bits of War to actually buy something. If you liked that video feature, consider supporting us over at patreon.com and get back in the mail each month a miniature crate full of some of the stuff we review here, as well as some of the top 3D artist designs out there too, to help support what they're doing. Plus, discount coupon codes from some of those same manufacturers. They're yours to keep, whether you cancel or stay on. It's totally up to you. Obviously, we want to keep you as happy as possible. So check it out over at patreon.com/spikybits.